Happy Sabbath. I don't know. I was back there. I didn't hear it too well. Did someone say Pharrell? Did I hear Pharrell? Am I crazy? Was that Jane? Jane? Pharrell? Okay. Anyways, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
Did you guys text your moms and your dads and your significant others? I can't hear you guys, man. Did you guys send out the calls? You guys send out the Valentines? Jose, what'd you do for your wife, man?
That's for her and I to know.
I won't ask any more questions then, man. I won't ask any more questions. Yeah, man, I sent out the appropriate texts and calls, man. I just had two to make. I called my mom first, and then I was in class. I texted my future sister-in-law, Christine. I don't know who knows my brother in here, but my brother's getting married soon, and that's another woman in my life, man. That's another woman in my life. But we're talking about love. We're talking about love. You know, there are a lot of things that I love, man. I love food. Who in here loves food? I'm not alone. I love food, man, and something crazy about food. I had the opportunity to travel recently, and I was talking to someone. I said the spirit of the city, the spirit of a place, and two things is in their music and it's in their food. Man, we had a lot of food, man. I'm trying to think of the best thing. When we were in London, Pastor Japheth took us to this place to serve this lamb chops. I don't know if you guys eat meat or not. I don't care. I do, and it was fantastic. Probably ate like Mary was missing a couple lambs after that, bro. We ate, Japheth ate like 60 lamb chops. I had like 20. Oh, man, it was ridiculous. But, man, when we were in Seattle, we were just kind of looking for food, pulled out the phone, opened up Yelp, and we're like, man, what's the spot for dessert? We went to this place called Hiroki. It was this French pastry place. Proprietors were Japanese. Didn't really make sense, but it worked out. I got this. Jose actually ordered this cake, man. It was called, I have to read you the name. I don't want to mess it up. Honey cheese mango Bavarian pie, man.
Say it again, preacher.
Oh, you want to hear it one more time? It was honey cheese mango Bavarian. I don't even know really what Bavarian cream is. I had to Google it. I Googled it like 30 minutes ago. It was just like a custard. Mango honey cheese. I took one bite, man. I bought like 3 desserts that day. I can't really explain it. Just something about food. Something about food. And when I took that bite, there was no other word, man. It was beautiful. I love travel, kind of mentioned that in the food. Everyone kind of, I have this wanderlust. I love to travel. I really love to travel. I love getting in a hotel. I love having the room by yourself. You take a shower, you walk around. You don't need to have any clothes on. See, half the room is laughing, half the room doesn't know what it's like to have a hotel room by themselves. They don't understand that pleasure. And like I said, I was in Seattle last week, and if you know anything about me, if you know a little bit about me, you know that was literally the worst place I could have gone. 48 reasons why it was the worst place I could have gone to. But I don't know. We don't talk about that. I don't know. What was I just talking about? I think I just had a stroke. But no, seriously, when we travel, you go through the airports, you see different parts of the town, different parts of the country, different parts of the world. Airports, hotel rooms, man, there's something about it. I don't know, it's just beautiful, man. I love my family. It's well documented. I'm a mama's boy. I love my mom. When I was in high school, I got a phone call. No one wants to get. I went to academy. I went to boarding school, and graduation is 3 days. You have the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Saturday afternoon, I was hanging out with my friends, really, really enjoying graduation. I got a phone call from my mom. My mom said, Isaac, I can't come to your graduation. Your grandfather, he just passed away. And it was high school. It's nothing to me quite now, but at that point, it was the biggest thing in my life, high school graduation. I want to spend it with the people I love. I want to spend it with my family. I want to spend it with my mom. And not only did I not get to spend it with them, I knew the pain my mom was going through. My mother is an emotive woman, so they came back into the country about 2 weeks after graduation, excuse me, and we got to spend some time together. And like I said, she's a very emotive woman, so whenever I'd say, hey, Ma, she was depressed, to say the least. And I was like, hey, Mom, let's go out. Let's go get some food. Let's go watch a movie. So we'd go out. All right, let's do it. I'm a lot bigger than her. I just kind of throw her around places. And I would just be like, all right, Ma, you ready? Like, I would just kind of mess around with her. I'd jump in her bed, and she would hate that because they had to get a new bed. And that's the truth. And I would get dressed, and I would be like, Mom, I'd tell Aaron, I'd be like, yo, Aaron, like, Mom's finally coming out with us. Like, hey, can you come out? We'd go out, and my mom would be like, hey, I'm ready. She would come out. She would wear her black dress because she was in mourning. My mom's an emotive woman. And I remember this kind of day after day. Some days we'd hang out, even at home, her loungewear, she would wear her black pajama bottom, she would wear a black t-shirt, and it killed me every day. Not only do I love my mother, I'm a very emotive person as well. I tried to show her, I tried to do something for her. There's nothing I could do, but we could just wait. A couple weeks later, I said, Ma, hey, I gotta get a haircut. Ma, you wanna go out? You wanna go to the mall? Let's go to Auntie Anne's. We always get pretzels. We dip them in caramel sauce. It's delicious. I love food. And my mom was like, all right, let's go. She seemed pretty good mood. Went back to my room, got dressed up. I was like, Ma, you ready? She came out. She had on a blue dress. And in that moment, I had to choke back tears a little bit, knowing what she'd gone through. And there was no other way I could describe that moment. It was beautiful. But let's talk about beauty. See, words are tricky because I ate a slice of honey mango cheese Bavarian pie, right? And it was beautiful. And then I was hanging out with my mom, and she's beautiful, right? I'm comparing my mom to pie. I don't think that lowly of my mom, I just think that highly of pie. What is beauty? The easy answer. What's the easy answer? Beauty is in the... You guys saw a video, they said some of their favorite celebrities. I didn't hear the most beautiful celebrity, though. I was a little upset at the guys who put that video together, my friend Matthew Masters. You guys saw the video. No one said Emma Watson. I was kind of confused. Maybe we need to refilm that video. But I want to hear from you. You know what, this distance, I kind of measured out, it's like 3 feet. But it's like it's like y'all can't hear me, okay? So I want to hear you. Tell me what you think is beautiful. It could be a person. It could be a place. It could be a thing. It's Valentine's Day. You guys are sitting next to your significant others, fellas, ladies. I'm setting y'all up. What is beautiful? Who is beautiful? Come on. Justin Timberlake. What else? I heard Paul. What'd you say? I heard someone say Peyton Manning. What? Am I confused? Am I crazy? I don't know. I must be crazy. Jesus. That's the easy answer, right? Oh, you wimped out. So it can be boiled down to several things. It can be boiled down to several categories, if you will. Human beings, natural landforms, works of art, be it food, be it painting, be it song, be it film, and skilled human action. Another question that we ask often is, why is beauty? Why does it exist as a construct, or does it exist as a construct? Many people, largely in the academic or scholarly fields, prefer to think that people agree to beauty because of their cultural and societal dispositions, which is true. But however, Beethoven is adored in Japan. Peruvians love Japanese woodblock prints. Ancient Incan sculptures are seen as treasures in English museums. Shakespeare in the Bible is translated into hundreds and hundreds of languages. American movies and music are everywhere. Even though they're a bit behind sometimes. I was in Honduras like a year ago, and they were just blaring that Fergie song, Big Girls Don't Cry. This was like last year. There are some problems. But come closer. Let's talk about beauty. My favorite theory of beauty, my favorite train of thought concerning beauty does not come from a philosopher like Nietzsche. It does not come from a great orator like Barack Obama. It does not come from an author like Shakespeare. It does not come from a poet like Khalil Gibran. Neither does it come from a reverend like Martin Luther King Jr. But it comes from an architect by the name of Vitruvius, popularized by what you may or may not know as the Vitruvian Man in Leonardo da Vinci's art. See, what the ancients called architecture is a little different than what we call architecture. See, it's seen as a sum total of the technical knowledge at the time. So Vitruvius was not just an architect who built buildings and whatever you architects do in your building, but they also had a thorough grasp of arithmetic, optics, history, medicine, law, astronomy, and they just happened to also know how to put some buildings together. He was a famous Roman architect, but he was a native Greek, and in his design, he believed in three major concepts in order to build a building. One is firmitas, strength. Two is utilitas, which is function. And three is venustas, for beauty. See, firmitas is clear, so is utilitas. A building must be sturdy, a building must be strong, but also must function as a building. And, you can't just have a beautiful church with no pews. You guys ever really take the opportunity to just be in awe of this building? Let's talk about beauty. A lot of people, when they first read Vitruvius's theory of architecture, a lot of them were cynical. A lot of them scoffed at the idea of beauty or venustas as being a key cog to building a building. But keep in mind, building is only considered a building when it is completely finished. We don't look at the steel slabs and we don't look at the concrete walls and I don't know, I'm not an architect. We only consider a building once we see it in its whole and in its totality. But you also don't appreciate a beautiful building that would collapse in 5 minutes. Vitruvius, in his theory paper, unpacked this relationship even further. He goes on to say this: architects without culture who aim at manual skill cannot gain a prestige corresponding to their labors, while those who trust only theory and literature obviously follow a shadow and not a reality. But those who have mastered both, like men equipped in full armor, soon acquire influence and attain their purpose. See, beauty is nothing without foundation and utility. Utility and function are nothing without beauty. Come closer. Let's talk about beauty. See, now we got to unpack venustas a little more. We have this idea of beauty, but there's still a question of what is beauty? That's the question we keep asking, and not just in these kinds of settings, in scholarly settings, in science. This is something that has often been discussed, and the answers might be right here. So venustas is unpacked into 6 more basic concepts. Ordinatio, which is orderly proportion, Dispositio, proper arrangement. I'm not a Latin scholar. Maybe Kevin can help me with that later. Decor, appropriate appearance. Distributio, appropriate allocation of resources. Eurythmia, harmony. Symmetria, symmetry. The first 4 talk about firmitas and utilitas. Ordinatio, orderly proportion. When this building is built, is everything going to settle right? Is there a foundation? Is it proper? Dispositio, proper arrangements. Decor, appropriate appearance. Does it look good? Is it pleasing from the outside? Distributio, is there an appropriate allocation of resources? Steel, concrete, wood. But the next 2 are key. The next 2 are special. Eurythmia, or harmony, is seen as the feeling and pleasure of the building and the relationship of itself. See, the eurythmia is the spirits of the building, because the building is more than just the wood and stone. The symmetry, of course, speaks of symmetry and implies you got to take a little bit of a step back to see symmetry. You guys see the circle over here. At the beginning of the semester, myself and Matthew and another friend of ours, Andy Atkins, we actually built that. It's just like a circle with wood. I'm not a craftsman by any means. We had shop class in high school, which I dropped out of as soon as I could, and took sewing or something like that, which I also suck at. But you need to, when you look at it, when you're up close, you see it. You see it, and it's like, you know what, this is good. This is circle. It looks okay. It looks all right. And then we hung it up. We're like, yeah, it looks great when you're standing right here. But then Andy was like, hey, maybe you should take a couple steps back. Maybe you need to back up a little bit. You need to look at it from far back. And we looked farther back, went all the way back to where those curtains are. We looked up and we see that. We see more. We see the symmetry. Step back from the mirror. Because when you look in the mirror, you see what you have. But take a step back. Come closer. Let's talk about beauty. This idea that beauty is more than just skin deep is not a cultural or societally driven idea that developed in our postmodernistic age, but something that was claimed 1,000 years ago. Since before you were able to look into the mirror and define yourself, beauty was born into who you are and who you were made to be by Jesus Christ. In Samuel 16, the Bible tells us the story of Samuel and his journey in selecting the king who would find favor in God's eyes and eventually reign over Saul. So imagine with me, you have Samuel. He adored Saul. He wanted Saul to be king, but circumstances happened, and then Saul lost favor in God's eyes. And he told Samuel, "Go, find me a new king." And he said, "Oh Lord, I don't know if is this the right thing to do? I really love Saul." He's like, No, go, trust me. And he told him a couple other things. He told him to take a calf, and he told him to take it to the land. He said, "You know what? You're going to find this family. You're going to find David's family. You're going to sacrifice this calf, and you're going to pick the king." So Samuel, accept God's word, packs up, heads over. The townsfolk, they think he's going to cast a curse on him or something. He says, no, I'm here. I need to see this family. He finds a family, and then he sees Eliab, which is one of the older brothers of David. He sees him. He's like, whoa. He's like, yeah, we got him. He's like, God, we got him. We got a king. Because he looks at him, he sees Eliab, and he sees him, and he's like, this guy's a king. Not only was he, I'm sure, tall in stature, not only was he muscular, not only was he handsome, but he had the aura of a king. There's this book, I love sports. I love sports. There's this book called The Book of Basketball by Bill Simmons. He's a sportscaster. And there's a basketball player, his name is David Robinson. David Robinson, if you were to Google him, you would find 250 pounds of dark chocolate. When you see pictures, I'm so serious. You look up a picture of David Robinson when he's like shooting a free throw. Like sometimes you look in the mirror and the lighting hits you just right and you're like, oh yeah. You're like, I don't need to work out today. You're like, I feel good. David Robinson, you look at his pictures, he'll be on a court, he'll be center court, have all the lights on him, and he'll just look just as cut as, like the lights are perfect. I'm like, this is David Robinson. This guy's pure muscle. But not only did he look regal, not only did he appear strong, when he walked into a room, he didn't need to ask the room, he didn't need to tell the room, because when he walked into a room, man, the room looked at him. You know what they say, when you're good, you tell people. When you're great, people tell you. David Robinson, man. He looked like a king. So did Eliab. Samuel was like, Lord, praise God from whom all blessings fell. We found the king. We found the king. But if you look in 1 Samuel 16. Look at verse 7. You don't have to open up, I'm going to read it to you here. In verse 7, in the New International Version, the word says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or height, for I have rejected him." The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. That's the part of the verse that we all know. But I want you to focus on the first line. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height. This is the New International Version. I wanted to kind of see, you get some wordplay going. I want to look at some of the other versions, and I found this in the New King James Version. The line is, do not consider his appearance or his height. Do not process this information cognitively and let this affect your judgment. Do not consider it. In the New King James, it says, do not even look at his appearance. He looked like a king. He had the command of a room like a king, but in God's eyes, was he a king? I'm going to assume you guys are following me, and no is the answer. He looked like a king by Samuel's judgments. He had everything that you would think would make you a king, but he was not a king. We focus too much on the outward appearance, and I tried everything I could to avoid a cliche, you are made in God's image sermon. But sometimes cliches are cliches for a reason. We walk around, we dress a certain way, we do our makeup a certain way, we act a certain way because we want to be beautiful, we want to be kings. But Jesus says your judgment is nothing and your definitions are nothing. The Lord does not see as man sees. Because if the Lord saw as we saw, we might be in some trouble. When I was a kid, I mention this a lot in jest to like friends of mine, people who maybe in like a class or something like that. But I was, I'm okay now. But when I was maybe in fourth grade, I was fat. Not like I'm not like, oh yeah, like I was a fatty. No, like I had legitimate obesity problems, and I'm not gonna go through all the stories. But one time I was really struggling with it, man. I remember even as a kid, I was really struggling with it, and I would just kind of look at all the other kids, and they would be like, I mean, a couple of them would be a little bit on the, more heavy side, but for the most part, they all looked good. They all were running at a normal speed. They all could run upstairs with their faces turning red. That's the other kid, not me. And I really went through some issues, man. I looked in the mirror and I was like, man, you're a little fat, dude. Like, I had problems. Like I said, I say it in jest as a defense mechanism subconsciously. But I had this issue, and I was like, you know what? There's no other person, no better person to make you feel good than your mom. Right? Oh, yeah. So, like I said, I was in this little self-pity phase, and I was like, I can go up to my mom. So I was like, Mom, this is when I was, I'm trying to gauge how old I was, maybe in fourth grade. And I was like, all right, you're going to go up to Mom. She's going to butter you up. Go throughout the rest of your day. Smooth. So I was like, Mom, Mommy. And give her a hug. She had to try really hard to pick me up. And I was like, Mom. I was like, Ma, I have to ask you a question. And boy, I tell you guys I'm a mama's boy. I don't think y'all really feel me. I'm a mama's boy, dude. She's like, what, baby, what? Tell me. And I was like, Ma, be honest. She's like, oh, of course, anything for my baby. Maybe I shouldn't have asked her to be honest. I said, Mommy and Isaac, come on, what's going on? Mommy, am I fat? In my head, I was already smiling. I was like, yeah, she's gonna tell me I'm beautiful. She's gonna tell me that I'm her most precious, She looked at me, she was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, you're fat. I was in fourth grade, man. Maybe that's why I'm such a jerk to people now, man. That's my mom's fault. She told me I was fat, and it was broken. I don't know how much time passed, but I was sitting there for a while. And then she was like, you're a little fat. She was like, but you're my baby. Stop that. She was like, you're my baby, and I love you. And you're beautiful to me. See, the Lord, his definition, his view of beauty is a lot different from our definition of view of beauty. We try to please people under this mask, and we try to say, no, I'm trying to please myself. I wear this because I like it. I do my face like this because I like it. We do it because we do it for other people. And if we don't do it for other people, we do it for ourselves. But if we're not doing it for Jesus, then what are we doing? See, the Lord doesn't just have a definition of beauty. The Lord is the definition of beauty. Our search for beauty is synonymous and symmetrical with our search for Jesus, because the truth of beauty is Jesus, and the truth of Jesus is beauty. So come closer. Let's talk about beauty. Let's talk about Jesus.